okay, this post show could be a half an hour long. It's not going to be. I want to talk about Randy, and I want to talk about Phyllis. And the good news to our most beautiful listeners who have expressed to me, like 3 of them, like, okay, these opportunities for repair are amazing, but could we do a season on like different opportunities? Which makes me think today we've introduced forgiveness and that it is slow work. So it's not going to be quick. But so the 9 domains of integration, and I thought of Phyllis, you mentioned she was thinking, I feel like I'm 12 years old. And even with exhausting, like I loved the exhaust the name of the hurt. There's no rush in that. And so it's like we can settle into, okay, the 9 domains, noticing what's coming up. If I feel 12, what's going on there? And that's all important. And that's going to get us to forgiveness, but we have to spend that time. Right.
And just to highlight that, like you can be in the middle of forgiveness, and then years later something can come up, like what's happening for Phyllis. Something can come up that reactivates this stuff, and people are tempted to think, I thought I forgave that person.
Right. I thought I was done.
I thought I did that. Again, as if forgiveness. This is Peter's conversation with Jesus, in which Jesus is like, no, it's not about 7 times. The hyperbole, right? It's 7 times 70, right? The hyperbole here in Jesus' words is like, it's not about checking a box. It's not about getting something done.
Right.
It is about who are you becoming? And forgiveness will be a lifelong thing for me. Now, with Randy, it was not so, because he actually was able to say, like, yeah, I really screwed this up.
Right.
Really.
Right.
But there are people for whom, even if they know about it, they don't think they've done anything wrong.
Right. Well, and like with Randy, I thought, okay, all of us, our beautiful listeners, we have varying degrees of anticipation of repair.
Right.
And so like Randy helped build a little different anticipation.
Right.
And so we experience this. We have this community, us, where we can venture out and try to repair, try to forgive with the strength of our community. And then we do it, and then we have a little bit that it's like, okay, the whatever this is goes a little bit more.
Resilience, which we'll talk about.
Right. And and our anticipation, like to get to a point where, because I have friends that can talk, it seems like it's quite easy to bring up things like, oh, I want to talk about this, and with such ease. I'm like, because they anticipate that there will be repair or there will be forgiveness. And it's like, okay, what am I anticipating? And we build that.
Yeah. Well, and I think about some of our friends. I think about in the episode when we talked about caste, and I think about my African American, Asian American friends, Hispanic American friends too, which where I live in Northern Virginia, and the way that we treat people is just like it's beyond the pale, and. My African American friends, like it's not just like what happened to me, right? It's what happened to us, and it's what happened to us over the last 400 years. Right. There's so much inertia. So the whole notion of like, well, who do I forgive? Am I going to forgive the people in Britain and Portugal and Spain who were all part of the slave traders? I mean, like where are the names? Like the thickness of the thing I have to forgive. Like its depth, its breadth. Like it is a long term, which is why as we would say, not just forgiveness but repentance on a social scale, right? Repentance as myself as part of this that want to like move to be present to. Right. And so for some. And we some of us like we as individuals have had like parents and grandparents and great grandparents who have been products of alcoholism and trauma and so forth. And so we have these toxic family systems that like when I'm just not forgiving my dad, I'm forgiving my grandfather, right, and my grandfather's mother, and right. So again, it's highlighting that Jesus is trying to turn me into somebody. He's not just trying to get me to do something.
Right.
But I love that, Amy, that notion of like, in community, when we are repairing ruptures in community, it gives us more, a greater sense of like, I've got more ballast that I can now try this out with somebody else. It's going to feel even more risky. And you try it out with somebody else, it's even more so. Yeah.
Right.
Other stuff, Amy?
No, I think that and I said it with Randy, is that this building of you say Kurt, but this building of shifting my anticipation and even going into repair work now, I anticipate I am more focused on this can be repaired and it certainly can, I can do the work that I can do. And so it eliminates my angst about it is less and anticipation of the work as a fabulous thing is more, which
Yeah.
is fabulous.
Yeah.
I really, when you talked about Worthington's 5 steps and the recalling of the hurt, is such an important step and such an important part of the process that, even, and then taking that, to someone, doing that in, so that you're not alone in it. So often I can just, hear as I'm, recalling the hurt to my wife about something that happened with someone else. And, I'm like, I'm going to call them right now. And she'll be like,
Wait.
Think you need to take a little bit of the edge off before you talk to anybody right now?
Keep exhausting it with me.
And so it is. So and so if you don't do that, if you're recalling the hurt and you've got anger and all these things that are mixed up in there, and you go right to the person, it's not going to help the forgiveness.
Shame, right?
Yeah. That's the shame. Because that's what I want to do. But so yeah, and so it's also like having that as a list. It also feels like it's okay to feel those things,
absolutely,
and get them out, and be in a place where I'm getting them out, where it's a safe spot, and it's not, it's venting, it's letting some of the air out of the balloon, and so that,
and it's not only okay, it's imperative. Like if we don't do that work, then we're going to show up with all kinds of stuff.
Right.
There's a reason why it's step 1. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this metaphor suddenly coming into my head, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like I am in such distress. And the surgeon says, well, let's look at how many shrapnel pieces do you have inside your chest cavity? And you take them and you put them on the table, and you're like, oh, now I can do something with these things. I can decide to do something on purpose. And again, highlighting what we've been talking about, this notion of like, I'm not just going to look at them by myself. Like the 3 of us, for instance, will look at them. And then I ultimately have to be the one who makes the decision, but I make that decision with the 2 of you in my mind, with the 2 of you in on the process of how I'm doing that. And so we can make decisions explicitly and intentionally, as opposed to that shrapnel being within me and it's doing its work apart from my awareness, perhaps, of what's even going on and so forth.
Right.
Because this would be equivalent to all the stress hormones that I tend to accumulate as I hold on to the things that I'm holding on to without moving into a process of forgiveness.
Well, and to keep the metaphor of shrapnel, which is not super fun, but to keep with that one, like if you show up to the person that you're trying to forgive with all the shrapnel in you,
right,
then you are so full of pain and all the things, and then it doesn't usually. Well, I would imagine it doesn't go swimmingly.
Right. Yeah. It's like, Pep, you're when you're talking to Nell, and you're like, she's like, no, I think you need to see the surgeon first. Like, first see the surgeon. Cause,
right.
Oh, my gracious. I so get that. I so get that. I mean, how many times have we talk about, like, you write an email You don't put the address in where you want to send it. You write it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't put the address in.
Don't
and
put the
accidentally
address.
send it.
Right. Don't put the address
We've
in.
all
You
done
write
that.
it. Right. And then you might say, "Oh, I'm going to send this to Pepper and Amy first. I'm going to send this to them, and then they can see it." Mm-hmm. And then if I'm more connected to you, I'm less alone with this, and then I can I erase it or whatever, get rid of it, and then I can say, okay, now how do I really want? What's the next step? How do I want to move into the next step eventually?
Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, guys, listen, I want you both to know that I forgive you.
Do you?
No, I don't. I have to do the work. I'm going to go rage to my wife first about both of you.
I don't think you've done step one.
She'll help temper my anger and rage, and then I'll come back to you next week.
Okay,
and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll both be here.
Yes,
you'll let us know how awful our behavior has been.
I will.
But you could do it with loving kindness.
Of course, yeah. You won't even
trying to help us.
I'm so good with my stiletto. You won't even feel the blade. All right, love you guys.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.